Shells and Harpsichord. Ai-Ling received a Christmas card from her boss, Mary, yesterday. Mary said it was for late 1989 or early 1990. Ai-Ling looked at the calendar. Half of 1989 had gone. Ai-Ling hadn't seen her old boss for almost 20 years, but they had been exchanging Christmas cards every year. On the cards they always chatted about what had happened during the year, just the way they used to chat when Ai-Ling worked for her. Ai-Ling always sent her card a little before Christmas, and Mary's card could come anywhere from January the next year until November. Ai-Ling knew her old boss was a social scientist by training but an artist at heart, and December was the month she went alone to the Caribbean islands to collect shells. No one would receive any correspondence from her during that period. The university they worked for was famous for its social research. They almost always got the grants that they applied for. That was the golden era for social research, and people were willing to spend $1 million to find out about a poorhouse in the city. As soon as Ai-Ling got her master's degree in sociology, she was offered 3 jobs, all in research. She couldn't remember the interview she had with Mary in detail. She did remember that Mary said that she had just received a hefty grant and needed a person exactly with Ai-Ling's qualifications. She mentioned Bach, and had said that she could play Bach on the harpsichord all day long. Ai-Ling was infatuated with Bach at that time, and took the job without a second thought, although the salary Mary had offered her was the lowest of the 3. Ai-Ling worked under no supervision from Mary. She only expected Ai-Ling to hand in the report on time, with minimal mistakes. When she found out that Ai-Ling liked to write, she gave her the responsibility of writing all the proposals and applications for future grants. Ai-Ling used the principles she learned from her creative writing classes to the fullest advantage. The grants approved were usually for 3 years. Aside from the worry of not getting them renewed, the rest of the time was really stress-free. One summer, Mary went to East Europe for a long conference, and she left the whole office to Ai-Ling. Ai-Ling thought summer was too hot for doing research, so she proposed the afternoon off for everyone if the working schedule was ahead of or on time. Nobody wanted to work in the afternoon, so they all worked twice as hard in the morning. At 12 noon, everyone was gone. Ai-Ling stayed for a couple of hours to check the progress reports. Then she too took off and went to the small theater that played double features of foreign and old domestic movies in her neighborhood. The features changed daily. She must have seen over 100 movies that summer, including all the movies of Charlie Chaplin. She laughed by herself until her stomach hurt in the dark theater. When Mary came back from Europe, Ai-Ling handed her a thick stack of weekly reports. She rewarded Ai-Ling by showing her the music sheets of Bach's fugues and preludes, which she had bought from the shops on the narrow streets in Prague. She had gotten them at a fraction of what she would pay for them in the States. Mary was so surprised that Ai-Ling knew those streets. The streets Ai-Ling knew were more romantic than what Mary had seen. Ai-Ling had seen them in the movies that she saw in the afternoons. Of course, she didn't tell Mary that. After Ai-Ling got married, she worked until the project was finished. She had been commuting 4 hours a day from her new suburban home, and she told Mary that she was thinking about starting a family. Mary advised Ai-Ling not to quit the job that she had worked for so long. Ai-Ling said that she couldn't have her cake and eat it too. Mary finally said, "All right, come back any time if you want to work. There will be something here for you." Ai-Ling and her husband moved to the south, and after a few years her husband grew tired of his engineering job and wanted to play the violin. In that year's Christmas card, Ai-Ling mentioned it to Mary. She received Mary's card on January the 4th. "Come, there's a job to do at the office, and the orchestras here are always looking for string players." Mary had already returned to a university in the north where she had graduated, and that institution was even better known for its social research than the one Ai-Ling had worked in. But her husband didn't like cold weather, so Ai-Ling thanked Mary and said that they would not be coming north. But in all these years, Ai-Ling felt sure that if she had wanted to return to the job market, Mary would have something for her to do. In a later card Ai-Ling received from her, Mary wrote, "Congratulations on your mother turning 80. My mother is 92. Since she broke her hip bone, she has had difficulty moving around, but she's still as sharp as a nail. As for me, I shall retire in the next 2 or 3 years. I've been anxious, but I'm also looking forward to the days when I can have more time to collect my shells and play my harpsichord. Ai-ling seemed to see Mary on the Caribbean seashore, her rimless glasses sliding off her thin nose ridge, bending over to look for her shells all day long, and playing Bach on her harpsichord all day long.